Welcome to another TOEFL listening practice session. In this video, you'll listen to an engaging lecture, answer thought-provoking questions, and review the correct answers to sharpen your listening skills. Don't forget to subscribe for more TOEFL practice materials to help you achieve your goals.
Listen to part of a lecture in an environmental science class. The professor is discussing the carbon cycle.
Carbon is one of the most important elements for life on Earth, forming the backbone of organic molecules such as carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. The carbon cycle begins with the release of carbon dioxide, CO2, into the atmosphere, primarily through respiration, decomposition, and the burning of fossil fuels. Plants then absorb this CO2 during photosynthesis, using it to build organic matter such as glucose, which serves as an energy source for growth and development. As animals feed on plants, the carbon stored in plant tissues is transferred through food webs, eventually returning to the atmosphere via respiration when animals exhale CO2. In the oceans, carbon is exchanged between the atmosphere and surface waters through diffusion. Marine organisms such as phytoplankton play a role similar to terrestrial plants. They use CO2, water, and sunlight to make energy-rich compounds while releasing oxygen. When these tiny organisms die, some of their remains sink to the ocean floor, where they may become buried in sediments. Over long periods, these sediments can form rock layers or transform into fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas. This process effectively locks carbon away in geological formations, keeping it out of the short-term carbon cycle for thousands or even millions of years. Human activities have accelerated the release of carbon from its long-term storage. By extracting and burning fossil fuels for energy, carbon that was once trapped underground is rapidly returned to the atmosphere as CO2. Deforestation also amplifies this process, as cutting and burning trees removes an important carbon sink, forests, and adds more CO2 to the atmosphere. These actions increase the concentration of greenhouse gases, which trap heat within the atmosphere and contribute to global climate change. Climate change, in turn, influences the carbon cycle itself. For example, as global temperatures rise, oceans may absorb less CO2 and release more. Melting permafrost in polar regions can expose additional organic matter, which then decomposes and releases even more CO2 and methane, a potent greenhouse gas. This creates a feedback loop that can further exacerbate global warming. Scientists monitor these trends closely, since altering the balance of the carbon cycle can lead to long-term shifts in weather patterns, ocean chemistry, and biodiversity. Addressing these challenges requires international collaboration and technological innovation. On one hand, restoring forests through reforestation projects can enhance the natural absorption of CO2, helping to offset emissions from industry and transportation. On the other hand, developing and scaling up clean energy solutions such as wind, solar, and geothermal power reduces dependence on fossil fuels. Carbon capture and storage technologies also hold promise, capturing CO2 from industrial facilities and sequestering it underground before it reaches the atmosphere. Ultimately, understanding the carbon cycle is crucial for managing climate change and protecting ecological systems. It provides insight into how carbon moves throughout the planet and underscores the importance of making sustainable decisions. By recognizing the interconnected nature of these processes, we can devise strategies that preserve the balance of carbon in our environment for generations to come.
According to the lecture, which process is mentioned as the initial step in the short-term carbon cycle? What role do phytoplankton in the oceans play in the carbon cycle? According to the lecture, how does deforestation affect the carbon cycle? Which key point about a feedback loop related to climate change is highlighted in the lecture? Which strategy is suggested in the lecture to reduce carbon emissions and maintain balance in the carbon cycle? According to the lecture, why is understanding the carbon cycle important for future generations?
Don't forget to subscribe for more TOEFL practice materials to help you achieve your goals.